Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm with Andrew Goldthorpe, who reckons he has a solution to the property portals issue. Andrew, you're the CEO of PropertyMutual. Why do you think your PropertyMutual portal is the solution to the issue of portals in UK estate agency? Talk to me.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for the invitation. I believe that mutuality is an opportunity for business to do well and to do good. I think that Rightmove started off with that idea in mind. There was an unspoken contract for mutual betterment when Rightmove launched 20 years ago. Agents supplied inventory, in the end, whole of market inventory, which gave it its market appeal, in return for nominal costs. Of course, over time, they monetized it, it got more expensive, and then eventually they floated. When they floated, that contract for mutual betterment was broken forever. And in my view, PLCs, companies limited by shares, they have an inherent conflict of interest that stops them working solely in the best interests of their members. So that's why mutuals have been around for over 100 years. Famous mutuals like Nationwide, 15 million customers. I prefer banks that don't have share buybacks, that all the benefit goes back to the customers. I prefer insurers like NFU Mutual, where I get a bonus if I renew my contract, and where they don't have to furlough staff because they've got enormous cash reserves. And that's the difference between a mutual. It's only working in its best interests of its members. It doesn't have to spend hundreds of millions like Rightmove buying back shares. It doesn't have to distribute surplus revenue in the form of dividends. All of that surplus revenue that a mutual generates is purely for the benefit of its members. So in theory, if PropertyMutual had launched 5 years ago, instead of on the market, PropertyMutual could have been salting away cash reserves as a mutual and potentially not had to furlough staff, not had to take up the government's COVID loan guarantee scheme. And this is the benefit that having long-term mutuality gives you. I also think that the difference between my mutual and others that have tried to do the same job is that any legitimate mutual must have a charitable assignment condition. It's essential, but the big businesses like NFU Mutual have it. It essentially means that if the mutual is terminated for any reason, there are no profits or proceeds going to founders or agents. It's all distributed to charity.
Do you think that was the issue with on the market? Is that wasn't written in? I mean, there are some allegedly that have said it was always built that way to sell on for an IPO eventually. Allegedly.
It's not really my place, nor do I want to comment on the market. They did what they did, but if they'd had a charitable assignment clause condition, there's no doubt they wouldn't have been able to float. So, and that might have motivated the agents to stick with it as a mutual and for more people to come on board. I think that too many people saw the flaws in the model, the fact that it wasn't, in my view, a legitimate mutual. So I've taken great pains to create a legal structure that ensures that PropertyMutual is a company limited by guarantee, has charitable assignment conditions, has a fully accountable board whereby regional representatives would be reporting to regional board directors who would be then telling the executive board members how to run the business. How to run the business? Well, if it's actually 100% owned by members for members, no external shareholders, no distractions, the members are really in charge, and it will be an accountable board. So, for example, joint ventures with other prop tech companies, no point reinventing the wheel if the agent members tell the board that they want blockchain, for example. So we could perhaps cooperate with a business that's got that expertise. MLS, there's the conversations have been going on for years about whether MLS is something that the UK industry could benefit from, particularly now that there's a lot more hybridization of offices and home-based offices. That's something that the mutual would be able to either develop entirely in-house for the benefit of its members or have a joint venture. So it gives as long as it's legally structured as a mutual Doesn't have to be non-commercial. It can do form collaborations with other mutuals, other commercial PropTech businesses. The point is, all the benefit goes to the mutual, not to third parties.
I mean, the big thing that with portals is the data that's coming through, and let's be honest, an awful lot of them sell that data on. What's the issue with the data with regard to your mutual?
Let's take fintech, for example. There have been loads and loads of startups. They've had investor cash behind them. They've onboarded all sorts of data. They've gone bust, and that data has just disappeared into the ether. No accountability. Nobody knows what's happened to it. A mutual gives us the framework to actually build our data lake internally, monetize it, but monetize it ethically and legitimately. And by that, I mean having a board of trustees overseeing it. Captains of industry.
But I'm getting down to nitty gritty. Is your portal going to sell mortgage leads to John Carchol? Can never say that name.
Not if our agents tell us not to.
Is that a majority decision? Would that be a majority decision? Let's say 51% yes and 49% no. Because surely they want to get their own mortgage leads.
Exactly. And PropertyMutual in its current form is a listing platform. It does the basics that any portal has to do. But if agents want to contribute their data to our data lake, they'll have the opportunity to silo it for confidential reasons. But the mutual will have to have the right to that anonymized data for the benefit of the mutual. Now, if an agent firm wants the ability to promote its own relationships in terms of driving second-tier transactions, mortgages, etc., they have that perfect right to do it because we are told what to do by the agents, not the other way around.
Okay.
But if there are agents out there that don't have those affiliations, we need to serve them as well. So we'll listen to them and say, is there anything that we can on board that would give you the ability to drive revenue to yourself, but to the mutual as well?
So the agent would get a big chunk of it, and the mutual would get the rest to share out amongst everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving swiftly on, where are you going to get all your leads from? Because agents judge a portal by leads, which means let's be honest, on the market, burnt through a hell of a lot of money. How many people do you need to get on board to move this one forward and make it short and sweet?
Well, we think critical mass is 5,000. We're only charging a tenner a month to cover our costs so that we can prove concept. That's a cup of coffee a week. We think that's a worthwhile investment in agents' future for a platform that they will own 100% forever. So in terms of driving the traffic, when we get to 5,000 members, we've got transparent fee structures based on membership posted on the website so we can increase revenue. 50% of our entire revenue we've allocated to the marketing budget. So for example, if we get 10, 15,000 members, we'll have a multi-million total revenue, which will give us a significant multi-million pound mass fee.
The way it would work is that you would set a mutual up, which was controlled by agents who would employ a firm to set up the actual website itself, which was basically, it's a 5-year agreement, wouldn't it?
It's a 5-year agreement, and the commercial service provider can be kicked out after 5 years.
Okay.
So this is the key point. No other business out there is saying that we've got a soft launch platform. It's already built. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to lock you into 5-year contracts and raise millions and millions of pounds.
So this is ready to go, is it? I mean, can you launch without, let's say only 3,000 agents come on board. Can you launch?
Yeah, it's soft launched already. It's been free testing itself. It's fully scalable. It's all on the cloud. It's soft launched already.
So how do agents find out more about this to see if this is a potential solution?
Well, we're pretty transparent. We've basically laid it all out on the website. As I said, transparent rates. We talk about what mutuality is. We talk about charitable assignment conditions, why they're important. There's the link where you can buy a subscription for $10 a month.
And what is your final thing that you want to say to UK estate agents and letting agents watching this?
I don't think PLCs are the solution. There's an inherent conflict of interest. They have to work in the best interest of shareholders. Mutuality, no shareholders, no conflict. All the revenue is retained. You can build up cash reserves to protect you for future crises, etc., etc.
Thank you for your time today.